for later. Oh yeah, I moved the microphone. So if right now the sound seems a little weird, it's because the microphone was originally there, and now I moved it over here. Because in my previous video, every time I turned, it completely screwed up the audio profile of the video. You could hear everything, but it was just weird. And so now, I think I gotta rotate the mic a little bit, but I think it's gonna be better. We'll see. Oh. Also, I don't have a dresser. I used to have a dresser, but I don't have a dresser anymore because my room is ridiculously small. Let me demonstrate. This is the room of a normal person with their bed, their dresser with drawers. And this is like my room with their bed and their door and their desk and their closet and their window and their radiator and their little corner which they can't do anything with. And then somehow I've squeezed a wall of plastic shelves, drawers right here. Apparently drawers is spelled Drews. And I guess you could say theoretically, actually I did this wrong. This is actually this right here. That's the wall of Drews. This is the door here. Okay. So you could say that the wall of Drews is a dresser, and I use it as such. But a lot of my clothes are way too big to fit in the little plastic Drews. So the only place that I could realistically put a dresser would be here, right here, which is literally what you're looking at. This is that. Or here. But the problem with putting it here is that that is actually really small because this diagram is not to scale. And then the door would open into it. So I have no place to put a dresser. I used to have a dresser, but I got rid of the dresser because I needed more room in my room for room things. Also, I bought magnetic dry erase markers, but they're awful. The magnets, they're strong, but they're not that strong. And then, I don't know if you can tell, but they're really light. I don't like it! Where did I put the sock? Long story short, I need better dry erase markers, and I also need one of those felt eraser things, but not a little one. I have like one somewhere. It's lost. Buried, but it is really friggin' tiny because it came in like a set of like colored dry erase markers, which are somewhere. They're over there, but I don't know where the eraser is. So I don't have the eraser, but even if I did have the eraser, it's tiny as heck, and like it's impractical. Let's just put it that way. Okay, now that I've wasted 3 minutes and 8 seconds of your life. I'm sorry. I have no idea who the heck Kit O'Connell is. They're verified, but here's the thing about verification. Verification on Twitter, which is this little fancy thing right here. You may have seen it. You may have heard people talking about it. Okay, I'm gonna draw it in black because I really don't know if you can see that. Is meaningless. Anyone can get verified if they want to spend the time and effort. What a verification checkmark means is that you are self-absorbed and want this recognition of being famous, this quasi-recognition, I don't know. The reason why it is meaningless is because all you need to get verified is three different websites that can establish who you say you are. So all you need to do is create an IMDb profile, a Wikipedia page, and a personal website, all of which include your name, a photo of you, and your personal and your Twitter handle. Once you have those three things, which anyone can make, you don't need to be famous to have those things. I could create myself a Wikipedia page. These are just examples, so if they're not actually as easy to create as I suggest in this video, there are other options. You just need websites that corroborate your identity in relation to your Twitter handle, and that's pretty much it. Anyone can do it. You need those three things. So basically, like, if you know what you're doing or know someone who knows what they're doing, that's like a few hours of work, not if that. And then send all that to Twitter with some other details and some like thing to establish that you are who you say you are, and boom! In like 6 weeks to a year, you'll have a check mark even if you've only got 500 frickin' followers. So it's meaningless. And I rambled again. Kit O'Connell, verified, but verification is meaningless, and I have no idea who they are. In their profile picture, they're staring at the Patreon logo. So either they work for Patreon, or they want you to give them money on Patreon. I'm not sure. There's a photo here of people presumably throwing punches at each other. And he says the only debate I'm interested in is with PewDiePie fans. There is then additional context to suggest that this is comparing this to punching Nazis. Because of course PewDiePie is a Nazi. And anyone who supports PewDiePie is therefore a Nazi because he is a Nazi. Let me see if I can explain this visually. So you have PewDiePie, Mr. Brofist himself, that's PewDiePie, is a Nazi. And people who watch PewDiePie, so their little eyes, well, they're not Nazis because they did see, but they are Nazis because PewDiePie is a Nazi. See? Supporters of Nazis are Nazis. That is the logic being established here. So, if you support PewDiePie, you are a Nazi. And if people want to punch Nazis, people who support PewDiePie should be punched. Because punching Nazis is cool. Yeah? Nobody is debating that! Nobody is saying that punching Nazis is not cool except for Nazis. But what people are saying is that the people you are calling Nazis are not Nazis. Because PewDiePie is not a friggin' Nazi. Neither is every... I have to rephrase this. Not every Republican is a Nazi. Being Republican does not make you a Nazi by default. I was about to say all Republicans are not Nazis, and this is not. That is not a fact. Subsequently, Kit then says, and yes, Jack is following a lot of the same accounts because Twitter's founder is a beeping Nazi too. It's not complicated. Okay, so here is the situation. Fully on the board. PewDiePie is a Nazi. His supporters are Nazis because they support PewDiePie. Jack, the living embodiment of the Twitter bird, Jack, is also a Nazi. By this logic, people who watch or support Jack are also Nazis because they support a Nazi by giving him a platform to defend himself and also, money for using Twitter. Wouldn't that mean that anyone with a Twitter account is, by this very logic, a Nazi? Yes! Yes, it would, by this logic. Therefore, Kit O'Connell is a Nazi because he uses Twitter. And Twitter is Jack, and Jack is a Nazi. And people who support Nazis are Nazis. And I will be damned if I sit here and get lectured by a friggin' Nazi like Kit O'Connell. Who, to clarify, is a Nazi because they have a Twitter account, and by their own logic, anyone with a Twitter account is a Nazi. If you are also a Jack, what the hell is his last name? I think he starts with a D. Apparently, I don't know how to spell. Let's see if I can figure it out. Jack Dorsey! I was right, it does start with a D. If you support known Nazi Jack Dorsey and are therefore a Nazi by extension, please go to twitter.com, home of the Nazis, and follow me, who is not a Nazi. I am not a Nazi, alright? And do me a follow, because I need more followers. And I'm okay with my followers being Nazis, because as we've established, people who support Nazis are Nazis, except for me. But that does not mean people who are people who are supported by Nazis are themselves Nazis. That is a topic for an entirely different video. Because I'm sure there's a lot of people who would say otherwise. But please, here's Jolly on Instagram, and Twitter. This Twitter bird is just gonna friggin' devolve over time, let me tell you. And also subscribe on YouTube, which you're probably watching this on. That's the play button. Thank you for watching. Smiley face.